You know, I feel kind of bad for Toadsworth. I'm willing to bet that in all of Isle Delfino, there's not one bathroom, and this man really has to pee. Hey guys, what's up? Arthur here, and welcome back to Let's Play Super Mario Sunshine. In the last episode, we crushed Rico Harbor pretty easily, excluding for one mission, of course, because we do not have the item to quite yet finish. And in this episode, we are moving on to the next area, which is Gelato Beach. Now, I'm going to preface this by two notes. One, and this will probably carry over to the second half of this stage anyway, so you'll probably see it in the next part. I want you guys to comment on what you think the worst level is in this stage, because there's quite a few contenders for ones that people don't like. There's the Watermelon Festival, of course, there's the Sandbird, there's the Wiggler fight, so there's a lot of different options here. This first one, thankfully, is not one of them, but let me know what you guys think. What actually is the hardest level in Gelato Beach? And it doesn't have to be just the infamous ones, it can always be, you know, one of the red coin missions or what have you. But let me know in the comments too, so I can kind of get a view on what people think is the worst. It used to be almost always the Watermelon Festival. Everybody hated it, but it seems like the Sandbird's getting more hate than it used to. Secondly, I also want to preface this by, if my voice sounds a little bit different, it is not a new microphone. I am actually coming off a bit of a cold that I've had for the last few days. But I kind of wanted something to help me relax, which, in retrospect, I realized sounds like doesn't make really not much sense, because playing Mario Sunshine would probably not be that high on many people's lists of ways to relax, but I felt like recording it had been a while. I've been really slow with recordings lately because my internet was cutting out something fierce all the time, but I think I finally got the situation fixed, and so if I actually do have it fixed, then I'll be able to start uploading normally again. Whoa, that was weird. Now this first mission here is not too hard. What is it called? Dune Bud Sand Castle Secret? Yeah, that's not terribly difficult. Obviously, the key here is every time you step on a sand block, it will start to dissolve and eventually disappear. Over time, it will reappear, but the trick with that is really not the first part. It's the ending part right there with the actual quote-unquote castle. Pretty much just use your side jumps, and you've pretty much got it in the bag. It's not that hard, actually. And you'll notice with unlocking the Gelato Beach, we've actually opened up the area to the next world. Which, oh man, there's a doozy in that one as well. There's another mission that I don't like in there, but I usually cheat it out because there's a much easier way to do it. And it's not a glitch, you can actually do it. I guess the programmers just didn't think that somebody would try it. So let's head back to the Sandcastle Secret. This won't take that long, so I'm not going to cut this out. It's only going to be like 20 seconds, if that. But yes, I am coming off a bit of a cold. That may not sound that bad in the recording because my voice always sounds kind of like this anyway, but to me it sounds very off. So maybe you guys can hear it, maybe you can't. I'm doing fine now, thankfully. It's really just congestion at this point, but it was really bad earlier, well, I guess yesterday, because this is about 5 in the morning now. But it was super bad. It was like all the symptoms and then some. I was really badly fatigued too. And believe it or not, whenever I was heading back from my morning class, because it was Tuesday, see, it was 2 days ago, I actually fell asleep while I was driving, so I was like, maybe I should just go home and get some rest. And to make the story even funnier, whoa, I nearly killed myself right there. To make the story even funnier, I emailed all my teachers for the other 2 classes I had, letting them know I wasn't going to be there and why. And I got completely different reactions from what I expected. One of them was really cool about it. She was like, yeah, take your time. We'll see you on Thursday, because it's a Tuesday-Thursday class, hopefully. Just, you know, rest and get better. And the other one was like, you should come to class anyway. You're missing vital information here, even though it probably wasn't at all. I guess we'll find out at 1 o'clock this afternoon, which by the time you guys see this, it'll be long past then, since this is being recorded on the 3rd, by the way. 3rd of September, to be specific, for those of you that are watching this like a year later. But there we go, there's the 8 red coin mission. Not very hard. I had 10 seconds left, and that was with going out of my way to get a 1-up. So, yeah, pretty easy. Flood kind of breaks that level, and it was already pretty easy to begin with. So, yeah. That's probably the easiest red coin mission you're going to find throughout the game. I think that one's probably the easiest. At least off the top of my head. It's one of the easier ones for sure. Alright, let's just head on back in and see what we've got next. I believe it is the mirror stage, if I recall correctly. I practiced all of these except for one just before starting this recording. And to preface that, the one that I did not attempt was the Watermelon Festival, because apparently on top of being sick, and for those of you that think Mario Sunshine's hard, also playing it, I decided to torture myself even further by not practicing that one at all, because everybody knows it's infamy. Everybody that knows about this game probably knows that that's one of the more annoying levels. It's not the most annoying one to me. I know full well which one I hate the most. It's no secret to me which one I like the least. This weird thing is curled up on the tower to take a nap. It's contagious legendary sandbird egg. Okay. Well, so what's actually going on here, even though they kind of tell you, kind of don't. What you need to do is get the 3 mirrors that are in this stage to point up at the guy that will kill him, the Wiggler. So you got one mirror here, one here, and another one on this side of the thing that you can't really see right now. Each one of these is going to have something similar. It's not quite. I don't know what the official term of these things is. But they're a little bit like the Cataquacks. Not quite, though. They won't launch you up into the air. They just kind of roam around on these little glass things. I'm not sure if those are solar panels or if they're just kind of... I would assume they kind of look like solar panels, but they're not really storing energy so much as just reflecting it to somewhere else, but either way. In order to deal with these guys... Oh, wrong nozzle. In order to deal with these guys, what you have to do, and I was going to plan on tackling the third one last, what you need to do is get up onto the mirrors, as you've already seen, and then spray them so that they will go towards... Really? There we go. So they will go towards the edge of the mirror. Once you do that, they'll kind of lift a leg up like that, and you'll ground pound the other side, and that will send them flying off. Problem is, it's a little bit wonky sometimes. Sometimes it looks like you clearly did the right thing, and they'll just stay on for whatever reason. Obviously, the more there are, the more difficult it is, meaning the third one is far harder than the first two, but it's still not that terrible, but it is a little bit weird, I will concede. Whenever I was doing the practice for this, there was, I think it was the third one, actually. Like, there were times where it clearly looked like I had it, and just for whatever reason, it just didn't register as such. Yeah, this one probably won't. Oh no, it actually did, wow. But as you've clearly seen with both this one and the one that had 2 on them, it's not required... Stop. Dude. Alright, fine, I guess we'll go around this way. There we go. So get this guy. It's not required to hit all 3 of them at the same time, thankfully. Could you do it? Yes. Should you? Probably not. But there you go. I'm surprised none of them screwed up. Basically what will happen is you'll ground pound and it will look like they're about to fly off, but then they won't. Because their feet are kind of suction cup-esque. They'll just, you know, stay on the stage and then they'll start moving around again. So sometimes when it looks like you clearly have it, you don't. I don't think, from what I've seen, the mirror doesn't have to be tilted at an angle where it would actually launch them very far like a seesaw. As long as you get over there as quickly as you can after you've pushed them towards the edge and then ground pound the other side, regardless of how it tilts, it looks like that works the best. So that's just from what I've seen, though. I'm not 100% certain on that. Hopefully it is the case. Yes, yes, I know. I always forget that 1-up's down there. I don't think I've ever gone to actually pick that 1-up up. I don't think I've ever done that. Oh well. I've got plenty of lives. This isn't a stage that you lose lives in. It's just obnoxious, really, in some of these later ones. Kind of like this one. Wiggler Ahoy, full steam ahead. Now, when I practiced this one, I crushed Wiggler. So, the odds of it happening twice are pretty low. But I crushed him pretty hard. It was kind of awesome, actually. So you've got a rampaging Wiggler here. And in order to flip him over and attack him, what you have to do is spray these little things to the ground like you saw in Mission 1. And while the first one brought about a secret, what these things will do is they'll bring up a little thing from the sand. And whenever that happens, if Wiggler runs into it, whether it's it actually pops up underneath him, or he just flat out runs into it. Either way, he'll fall over. And then once he falls over, he will be obviously susceptible to damage. Mario can get hurt by it as well, but, or he can get thrown up in the air by it as well, but he will not outright take damage from it. I took damage because I hit Wiggler right there. Then it will point an arrow at one of the segments on his body, and once it does that, then you have to get up on top of him and ground pound that segment. Do it 3 times, and you've completed the mission. Now typically I use that one that was over there for the first 2, and then the third one I come back over here, because as you can tell, he's moving faster as it goes along here. So typically what I do is just get under this one and then just spray it with the hover nozzle. Now what this does is it will actually send him into the water. You can still get him, thankfully, but just be aware that it will actually push him outright into the water. It seems to be the easiest one to get him on, though, for whatever reason. Well, that wasn't quite as good as what I had for the last run, but it was still pretty solid. I took 1 damage, but it wasn't really from playing poorly. It was just kind of bad luck that I flew up into the air and landed on top of him, so not that big a deal. That boss fight can give you trouble, though, the first time playing it. That's definitely for certain. Alright, one more and we will call it an episode and move on to the second half of Gelato Beach. Keep in mind, I already did one of the secrets, so even if it looks like it was only 4, it was actually 5. The second half kind of has, like, easy and hard missions. Like, some of them really easy, some of them are really hard. It's kind of bizarre. Anyway, let's hop back on in, and I don't remember what this is. This is not the race, is it? No, it isn't. Okay, this is it. This is it. Yeah, here we go. Episode 4, the Sandbird is born, finally. We've heard a little bit about the Sandbird. It's kind of been incubated, I guess, for lack of a better word. So I guess it kind of makes some solar panels. But it's been incubating, or whatever you want to call it, in that tower for a while now, and it is finally born. The egg is completely broken open, so we're going to go find out where exactly it went, because it seems to not be in the sky anywhere if you look around. And this will bring about one of the red coin missions that will actually give you a lot of trouble your first time playing through. I know it did for me. Hopefully I'll do as well as I did in the practice, though, because in the practice I got this in 1 try, so here's hoping. Gonna slide down this, jump, bounce off this, and head in here. You can use FLUDD to control yourself if need be, but you really don't need to. Just straight line, slide straight down, jump with A. It's not very hard. And here is our lovely Sandbird. Now, don't get me wrong, I love how this area looks, but it can be very difficult. So the Sandbird is climbing around a tower, which you'll probably see in the background as I'm collecting these red coins. Now, 7 of these 8 coins are on the legendary Sandbird himself. The 8th one is on top of the tower, so what you need to do is collect 7, and then essentially... Oh, hey, a 1-up. Cool. And then essentially wait for him to get to the top, because he's gradually flying up. It's kind of hard to see, but he is gradually flying up. Once you collect the 7 that are on him, you're going to want to turn the camera like this, and then get down to about where his neck is. It's really the only safe spot here from what I've seen, because he's going to start turning sideways. And if you're careful, you can slowly maneuver on him. I've noticed the slower you go in that transition, because he's obviously sideways now, the slower you go in that transition, the better off you are. And that's probably the spot that will kill you. You'll notice there's also blue coins here, so I'll have to come back for those, but no biggie. But that is probably the most dangerous part. Do not jump and do not use FLUDD, because from all my experiences, that does not work well. Once he's done that little semicircle turn, then you're pretty much home free. You can see right here, he's kind of floating upwards. And maybe it's my imagination, but this reminds me a lot of the Tower of the Gods from Wind Waker. Maybe it's the seagulls, maybe it's just the giant gray pillar, but it does remind me of Tower of the Gods. Once you feel like you're at a high enough spot, all you gotta do is simply jump for the red coin. And there you go. The platform itself, like on the top of it, looks like the wing cap stage in 64. But there you go. I'm surprised. I actually did pretty well on that. Take that, Chugga Conroy, because I'm pretty sure he died whenever he did it, but that was ages ago, so I'm sure he's completely mastered Mario Sunshine by now. Completely mastered it, without flaw. But either way, that about does it for, and by about does it, I mean completely does it for the first half of Gelato Beach. So, wow, 13 lives. Thank you guys for watching. This has been Pimp Marth Roy, and I will see you guys next time for the second half of Gelato Beach, which will include the lovely Watermelon Festival. See you guys then.